I salute you all. Thanks for listening and thanks for watching. So basically today we are under family law 2, and basically today we are going to look at the types of wills. You get. In our previous video we saw what a will is. Even the book of William defines what's a will. Basically a will, it is a document that contains a disposal of the deceased is what? Property, basically. That's the document. Even if you read section 2 of the Succession Act, in the interpretation section, there is that definition of what? Of a will. But today we are going to look at the types of a will. And there is, however much actually, there is the elements that we saw under formalities of a valid will. We looked at unprivileged will. You get unprivileged will. We say that the general rule that differentiates between a privileged will and unprivileged will, a privileged will can either be in writing or oral, unlike unprivileged. So, without missing words, we go to the types of will. First of all, I'll first go to the privileged will. A privileged will, basically, this, as you hear the word privilege, as you hear the word privilege, for it is privileged. And basically it is provided under section 49 of the Succession Act, basically. And what you have to bear in mind here is that this privileged will is made by soldiers and people on sea, at the sea. You get. Basically, when you read section 49 tentatively, that will, it is provided under section 49, basically 49 and 50 of the Succession Act, and it provides that it can either be written or oral. You get. So basically what you have to bear in mind, and another element what you have to know about a privileged will is that it is nullified after the expiration of 1 month, after the testator has ceased to be entitled to make what? A privileged will. Which means that privileged will be in existence for not more than 1 month. Once the 1 month expires, it is nullified. You get. So basically note that in what? In mind about a privileged will. That is provided under section 50. When we read section 50 subsection 2, provides that a will, it expires after a period of what? Of 1 month, basically. So when you go to the categories of unprivileged will, first of all, it is made by soldiers in actual warfare. You get. Soldiers in actual warfare. Basically here they say that it may not be necessary that the country is at war, but so long as you are deployed as a soldier for a certain unit, you can make a privileged what? A privileged will. So note that in mind. It doesn't mean that it is made by soldiers in an exchange of fire or bullets. War. So long as you're a soldier that is deployed, you can make what? A privileged will, basically. When you read the case of Rewingham, Rewingham, this one, basically, it was Lord Denning who stated that the requirement for an actual warfare will be fulfilled if the soldier is serving with the armed forces in connection with the military operation which have been taking place or are believed to be imminent. You get. So basically note that in mind, and that is, those are soldiers at actual warfare. That is, you have dealt with this category. The second category is a mariner being at sea. A mariner or marines, or a mariner being at what? At sea. Here, basically, this includes all people of the marine what? The marine force. Basically, what you have to know, it includes all people in the marine force. Basically, it may be so long as you're working in the marine force. For example, there is a case in the goods of Hale, Hale, the goods of Hale. This person was a female typist in an ocean what? Liner. You get. And also when you go to the estates of Gibbs, the barman, this one was a barman on an ocean liner. So all those categories of people fall under the marine force and can make what? A privileged will. You get. Then when you go to the implications of of a privileged will. Basically, one of it, the one of it that we can see or that we can highlight, one of it, the will that is oral must be witnessed. However, even if it is oral, even if it is oral, where the will is oral, it must be witnessed. That is first of all. You get it must be witnessed by people. Secondly, another implication is that an informal act or document by a privileged testator is capable of revoking the formal will executed on an earlier date by the deceased person. You get, so note that in mind. An formal document by a privileged testator is capable of revoking a formal what? A formal will that was executed earlier. So note that in what? In mind. For example, even in the estate of Gossage, in the estate of Gossage, under this case, it provided that this testator made a will after being deployed to a unit in South Africa, and this will was sent to his fiancée. But when he got to know about the conduct of the fiancée, he wrote a letter saying that let the fiancé give the will to his sister. So after realizing, he then wrote a letter. To this letter, basically it was unattested. He wrote it to his sister saying him that to burn the will. So the court held that this letter revoked the will since it contained a clear intention to revoke the what? The will. So basically that is one of the first type of a will, which is a privileged what? A privileged will. Then second, we have ordinary wills. Ordinary wills. Basically, what you have to know about ordinary wills, these are wills made by most ordinary people. You get, and in order for such an ordinary will to be valid, the testator must possess capacity to make such a will. You get. I want to go further under ordinary wills because the major point under ordinary wills is capacity. They are looking at capacity to make a will. And capacity, look for another video on this channel which is talking about capacity to make a will. It is the one that will supplement this type of what? Of a will. But this is an ordinary will. Which it is capacity, whereby they look at the age, you must not be a minor, and the sound deposing what? Mind. You get. So we shall look about capacity, because they say that not everyone that is insane cannot make a will. Some insane people can make a will. Look at the video of capacity, you realize to know how can someone that is incapacitated or someone that is insane make a will. So basically note that in mind. And when you go further, that is the second will, ordinary wills. We have the third one is mutual wills. Mutual will. A mutual will, basically. And when you look under mutual will, this is where two or more people agree to make a will and they are mutually binding. Basically, as you hear the word mutual is like a consensus. You agree. At an agreement, is more than one person, which means they are two or more. They agree. That's where they are called what? Mutual wills, basically. And the first, actually, where the first person dies, the survivor is mutually binding on the terms of the will that were agreed what? Upon. Basically, not that and by, but in mind, whereby the ability to deposit the property is by agreement made with the deceased. You get. So note that in mind. And we have three categories basically under mutual wills. The first category that we can look at, mutual wills, wills made pursuant to an agreement. Mutual wills made pursuant to an agreement. When you read the case of Ridali of 1994, it provides that if two testators, for example, husband agree that each should leave his or her property to their children, you get, how the children, they are the beneficiaries in this essence, which means the surviving testator is binding or is taken as a trust to the beneficiaries. You get, is taken as a trustee. You get, so with the case of Widad. Then the second category that we can look at, agreement for a survivor to be bound by the agreement. You get, agreement for the survivor to be bound by the what? By the agreement under mutual wills. So when you look here, realize that there's a case of Reclever, Reclever, Reclever. It held that where a will is executed, the executors, both of them, they are bound by the interests. You get, by the interests, and the surviving person is taken as a trust for the benefit of the children. You get, because this category is that an agreement for survival to be bound by the survivor to be bound, which means if you agree on something and the person dies, so the surviving person is bound by that agreement. You get, he must ensure that he abides by the agreement. He must not change anything. He must what? Abide. So note that in what? In mind. So another category that we can talk about is that a binding event occurring. You get, a binding event occurring. In this essence, what we can look at, is that a binding event occurring. This deals with, actually there's a case of Michel. Actually in Michel's case, Michell. Binding event occurring. Basically, binding event occurring under this case, when two spouses agree how they must dispose their property. You get, which means if the deceased person dies, the survivor, you get, loses control. And in this essence, what we are looking at is that the representatives of the survivors are the one that will take the survivors what? Property over as a trust to perform what was agreed upon in the will, which is in this essence even called a contract. You get, that is the binding event occurring. Is that one of the person has died. Now in this essence, what they are looking at, the surviving person has lost power. He has declared the property. He has put it in the trust, the representative, in his or her representatives. So in this essence, these representatives are bound to act as trustees to that property so that they can perform and fulfill what was agreed upon in the will or in that particular contract. So basically, we also have various other wills, for example, religious wills, but however much we don't look at them, but they are there. Religious wills, we have joint wills. Joint, it is a kind of similar to mutual, but however they are different. But for them, we don't look at them more so. And basically, those are the types of wills that we can look at under the law of succession. Other than that, thank you for listening and thank you for watching. Stay blessed and wish you good luck.